सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तं वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. I welcome you all with my love and respects. Rational mind, your intimate enemy. Today's subject. When you grow, your family, parents, university, society, everything teaches you to be rational, to be logical, to analyze, to question, to do everything after inquiring. It is good for your outer world businesses. If you are going to buy something, you need to question, you need to inquire, you need to decide what is the worthy of that product, what's the worth of that product, is it worthy of what you are paying, are you getting enough returns. If you are doing a business, it's beautiful. You need to be logical, you need to be analyzing, you need to be calculating. The society which teaches you, which taught you to be logical in the outer world, did not teach you to trust in the inner world. See, your life is not completely outer world. There are many things in your life which you need to approach with a different approach. They taught you all the ideas, they gave you all the instructions, they helped you to sharpen your logic, but they never helped you to sharpen your other dimension, to deepen the dimension of love, trust, existence, overflowing, just accepting, relaxing. These dimensions are never taught. You neither understood nor experienced the other dimensions. Even now, in your mind you will be sitting and calculating, will I get what for I came? I am here, driving more than 1 hour. Let me just see, will I be able to receive something for that 1 hour effort which I put, or I am spending 2 hours here, I don't know what I am going to get. Constantly calculating mind, constantly analyzing mind. Your logic is so sharp, your logic is encouraged by society so much. Constantly you look for what will I get, what will I get, what will I get. But the big problem is just that urge, what will I get, is occupying your inner space so much, you don't have a place to keep if you get some good experiences. When a beautiful experience happens to you, you don't have a place to keep it, because your inner space is filled with anxiety. What will I get? What will I get? What will I get? It's filled with anxiety. It's filled with the thought, what will I get? Person is constantly goal-oriented will never be able to experience. If beautiful things happen around him, even now, just take few minutes and relax. And do not plan or think, do not think too much, what will I get? I am sitting here for last 1 hour. I came from all the way. What am I going to gain? Your mind will be constantly planning, thinking. Relax few minutes and just feel. Okay. It's a playful way. Let us see what is that. Being logical, constantly asking for what next, what next, what next. It's a beautiful sloka by Shankara. Tatakim, tatakim, tatakim. What next, what next, what next. You lose the whole beauty of life. Many times people ask me, why you give such big gaps between the words? When I speak, I give a big gap. Usually the orators are not supposed to give gap. That is the way the orators are supposed to be. They are supposed to shout, not only shout, without giving any gap. Because if you give gap, you will start thinking. You can't give gap. And especially these so-called preachers, I saw God. The way in which they are telling the word silence, that itself is shouting. The very way in which they are expressing the word silence will take away the whole silence. They are completely agitated, and the same mood is transmitted to the people who are sitting and listening. Filled with unconsciousness. People ask me, why you give such a long gaps? Is to put your mind to rest, which is constantly asking what next, what next, what next. Even in those gaps, your mind will be telling what next, what next, what is he going to tell? If your mind is allowed to rest, you will experience what I want to convey. Tell you honestly, there is nothing which you can convey through words. Whatever can be conveyed through words is not for the listening. Let you understand. Whatever you can gain through words is not for the gaining. Whatever you need to really gain, it can be gained only the deeper levels. When you really feel connected, you start receiving that great gifts. The words are uttered just to make you feel connected. Actually, the words are uttered just to fulfill your ego, nothing else. Sometimes you feel fulfilled when you are beaten. Really. Sometimes when your ego is beaten, you feel fulfilled. You feel, oh, really I am learning something. Your ego is such, even by getting beaten, if it feels satisfied, it doesn't disturb you. I have seen many times in Indian temples, people will take the vow of walking for thousands of kilometers. They will walk and reach those temples, climbing hills, walking for 2 months, 3 months. When I analyze their consciousness, why they take up such big difficulties, it is just because their ego is getting filled. Ego is pampered. When you do all those things, you feel that you have done a big job. And the society also respects you. You get a lot of respect, attention. This Kumbh Mela I have seen one sadhu standing in one leg for 12 years. Actually, I expected that person will have a high consciousness. I went to see him by myself. I just thought that let me give my respect to a person who is doing so much of austerity, an austere sadhu, monk. When I went there, I saw he is filled with ego. kind of story. Then why is he standing on one leg for last 12 years? Without sleeping, without sitting, so much of suffering. What gives him the power? Then I understood just the attention by people can give so much power. Sometimes your ego feels fulfilled even by getting some beauty. Even if I give you some hard things, you won't mind. You will do it if you feel others are going to respect you. Sometimes even you yourself will start respecting you if you do something hard. I have seen many people meditating or doing yoga just to respect, just to gain little confidence. By doing all these hard things, they think that they are now becoming stronger. Just to feel that feel-good feeling. Anyhow, many ways the mind cheats you. From the young age, you are taught schools, society, university, colleges, everything teaches to analyze. Everything teaches you to use your logic to its best and all possible ways. But one important thing, you are never taught there is some space in your life where logic is not going to help. There is a space in your life you will achieve more if you relax from your logic. There is a space in your life you will achieve more by relaxing from your logic. See, logic will be a good weapon if you know how to keep it away from you. If you know how to use it and how to keep it away from you, it will become a beautiful weapon. You can use it. But after some time you are caught by your own logic. Not only you will not be able to get out of it, slowly you will start hurting yourself with that same logic. Understand, the logic which you use to judge others, with that same logic only you will start judging yourself. You may think, no, I am very intelligent. To measure others, to judge others, I use this logic. For me, I will have a different logic. No, you are not that intelligent. Understand? Consciously, sometime, you may use two logics in your life. To measure others, to judge others, you will use a different logic. When it comes to you, you will use a different logic. Consciously, maybe few times you may do like that. But unconsciously, constantly, you will use the same words, same attitude towards you also. Because you are not that intelligent to be intelligent, constantly to be aware of two different logics. When he does a mistake, I will judge him in a different way. When I do that, I won't bother. It's okay. It's only for them. It's not for me. These all ideas you will have only when you are aware. But in the inner consciousness, in the unconscious way, you will use the same logic towards you also. That is why all sadists will be masochists. All the people who torture others will be torturing themselves, no other way. You don't have two logic. Fortunately, you don't have two logic. From the young age, you are taught to build your whole identity based on logic. That is why, whenever you see an emotional being who trusts easily, you think he is a fool. I have seen many times, even during darshans, energy darshans, people come to me and they are crying, are asking for some solution, are asking for some boon. The other person is standing outside, he will think, oh, what this fool, he is asking all these things to the Swami. Can the Swami solve the problems or what? I have seen many times people standing and looking at, it's a young guy like me. Good speaker, that's okay. But why these people are going and falling at his feet and asking that, please Swamiji, solve me this problem, solve my that problem and give me healing and take away my disease. So-called educated person can't relate. He can't feel connected. He can feel connected to teddy bears, not deities. See, these guys will carry the teddy bear from morning till night. But they can't feel connected to the deities. Because they are logic. A rational mind. Many times I have seen it. Few days ago, an incident happened. One lady came to me first day and she asked for a healing, for a pain. I said, alright, it will become alright. Next day she came and she told me, Swamiji, pain disappeared. I am really feeling so relieved. One guy was standing next to me, he saw both the day what happened. First day he saw she coming and asking for healing. And second day he saw she coming and telling me that he is healed. And he came to me and asked in an inquiring way, can you heal my knee pain also? Like how you healed that pain? I said, I can't heal. Because for any miracle to happen, you need to create a different inner space. People ask me constantly, are you God? Because my wife is telling she attended your program. She is constantly telling me I am God. Or my brother is telling me he attended your program. Are you God? I tell them, I am God only for the person who has experienced it, not for all. If you have experienced the godliness through me, or if you have experienced divinity in my presence, then you can have the faith or you can have the belief. But it is not common for all. It depends on you. When people come and ask me, are you God? I tell them, it depends on you, not on me. I am same for all. It depends on you. If your inner space is pure, if your inner space is mature enough to go beyond logic, beyond rational mind, you can experience God this moment. This moment you can experience. It is just the possibility. In cell phone you have many tunes. Same way. In your being also you should have few tunes. Once in a while you should be able to go out of the logic. But normally you carry only one tune cell phone. That logic, that's all. And you don't have other tunes. Actually, logical people think the emotional people are the people who can trust others are fools. But they don't understand. To question, to be logical, to doubt, you don't need intelligence. Any fool can do that. All fools will do that only. Only to trust, to open up, to relax, you need intelligence. Very rarely, only intelligent people relax. People who can relax, I have seen how gracefully they live and leave. They are living and leaving. Both will be so graceful. People are caught just with the logic, who can't relax during living and leaving. Both will be hell for them. Both will be hell, worst hell. Small story. In a monastery, all the brothers were getting the training by the chief priest how to talk, how to give a sermon. chief is telling, when you talk about heaven, you should just express it in your body language. Your face should shine, your eyes should exhibit the joy, and your whole body should show that you are in heaven. It should just be told in your body language to inspire people. When you talk about hell, don't do anything, just be as you are. Nothing much needs to be done. If you are living with logic, you don't need to visualize hell because you are already in. You don't need to imagine hell because you are already in. It's very rare. Few genius individuals. Genius is a person who escapes from the social training of creating a strong logic. Understand? Genius is a person who escapes from the social conditioning or social training of creating a strong logic. Actually, if you somehow find a method or technique to escape from the strong logic, your logic will be able to penetrate the zones, penetrate the spaces which normal person's logic can't penetrate. You will have different flavor, you will have different quality, you will have different kind of an inner space. Again, it is very difficult to express logically how you can go beyond logic, because words are logical. But now I am sitting and talking against the logic. There's a beautiful simile in Nyaya Sutra. It's a great book on logic in Vedic tradition. Maybe this example will give you an idea how we misuse the logic and how we misunderstand, how we miss the whole thing. There are two different kinds of logic. One logic is by listening to two statements, you can come to the conclusion of third statement. For example, all men have got one head. Socrates is a man. You know the third statement now. Socrates has got one head. This is a simple logic. This is one kind of a logic. There is another kind of a logic. This room has got two gates. One gate is open. Naturally, your mind will come to the conclusion to the third statement, the other gate is closed. But it doesn't have to be. Understand, there are two kinds of logics. The second logic, you can't come to the conclusion by listening to the first two statements. But many times, you come to the conclusion. You come to the conclusion without thinking. You apply the first logic in the second place. You create problems. If somebody comes and tells you, your wife loves somebody else, then immediately you start thinking, then she is not loving me. You don't have to come to that conclusion. Actually, a person whose inner space is more, whose inner space can accommodate many people, he only can shower himself on many people. Of course, I am not talking about the physical relationships. I am talking about opening yourself or opening your being, showering the same attention, love and care on many people. If your inner space is vast enough, if your inner space is pure enough, you will be able to shower the same love, same attention, same care to every being. Naturally, the person who feels that only he should get all your attention feels insecure. He thinks, if You shower your love on somebody else, he may not get it. He may think that my share will reduce. I will not get the whole 100%. In the inner space, there is no such thing as 100%. It is just infinity. It is infinity. Only in the outer space, your logic, your percentage, your calculation, all these things will work. In the inner space, you can't have all this idea of logic, average, percentage. Sometimes I am surprised when I see these statistics and surveys done about human beings' minds. Here I read a lot of surveys, statistics. 66% are depressed. I am surprised, you can't. And that also they put percentage, 40% depression, 30% depression. You can't. The inner space cannot be measured with your so-called logical percentage. The psychoanalyst, psychotherapy, they have reduced mind also to a matter. Because all of you are brought up with the same mold. When one type of education is forced on all human beings, you are no more a human being. You are reduced just to a utility. See the whole game. Look at the whole game. You are educated, trained for some purpose to be an utility. And you are used and dispersed. That's all. When all of you are put in that one mold, over, you are no more human beings. You can, even your inner space can be calculated. You are predictable. Even in your unpredictable moments. Even the so-called unpredictable moments, what you will do, you are predictable. You are very clearly taught, if you become angry, you should become like that. If you are depressed, you should do that. Very clearly, all the ideas are inserted into you. Even in the unpredictable moment, what you are supposed to do. Already you have a manual. Be very clear. You are living only with the manual which is given to you by the society. As long as you are living with your so-called logic, you are not living with your logic, you are living with the society, the logic given to you by society. That is why I am saying, the logic, rational mind is your intimate enemy. If you are constantly feeling the suffocation, unfulfilled, bound, living like a slave, be very clear. It's true because you are living with the manual which society gave you. Fortunately, I spent my youth in Indian villages. Indian cities have gone to dogs. They are no more India. The Jews of Bharat means the land of knowledge. The Jews, the spirit of Bharat is lost in Indian cities. They don't have that life or the trend. Fortunately, I had the opportunity to live in Indian villages where society does not give you manuals. You are not given manuals. You are not taught what you can do, what you should do when you are angry, what you should do when you are depressed, what you should do when you have this mood or that mood. You can see in your life, even when you are depressed, you will do the same thing which your hero or heroine has done in the movies. Movies are the serial which you enjoy. What he or she did, you will do the same thing. Maybe in a different scale, means little more or less, that's all. But the quality will be same. You are taught when you are supposed to get depressed. You have a clear logic. If this happens, I should respond in this way. If that happens, I should respond in this way. A clear programming. And one more important thing. You are programmed to believe you are free if you live with this logic. That's another first thing. Not only you are slave, and you are taught to believe you are independent, you are free. You are hypnotized and made to believe you are not hypnotized. You are hypnotized. In the hypnotism itself, he gives an instruction. You will not believe you are hypnotized. You will believe you are free. That's the worst thing. That's the worst thing. Person who receives manual in the young age and lives with that manual can never feel the freedom, can never feel the liberation, can never experience. He can't breathe on his own. An important thing. If you are sitting with a rational mind, what next? What next? Will I get? I am here. Will I get something in this 1 hour? You will not even have a long, deep breath. You will not even breathe in a deep way. You can see. If you decide, let me relax, let me be playful, no problem. What is there? I will come, I will enjoy, it's okay. The moment you bring little playfulness, the moment you relax, first thing will happen is you will take a deep breath. Your breathing will be deep. Your body will start experiencing the prana. Prana means the life source, life energy. Only when you relax from your logic, the life force, the life energy starts working in your being. That is why in India we have a method called pranayama to cure the diseases. Working with breath, nothing else, just working with breath. You may think just working with breath, how can you cure the diseases? It's possible. Because those few minutes, you are not caught by logic. You see, all your disease is based on your logic. If you are taught to believe, if your logic believes, if you do all these things, you will have back pain. Even if you don't feel the back pain, you will be expecting, what is this? Today I did so much, still I have not got my back pain. What is happening? Nowadays things are not going right. Things are not going properly. You will expect, you will wait, you will meditate till you get it. Because you live with the logic. Unless your logic is proved, you feel uncomfortable. Unless your logic is fulfilled, you feel disturbed. You feel that you are not living. You feel that your whole being is shaken. Constantly, you create hell by your own logic. It's like you carrying your tent. You carry it. Wherever you go, wherever you want to rest, you erect your tent in half an hour. Same way you carry your logic. Wherever you go, just you erect your help in half an hour and start living with it. See, whenever you see in movies a beautiful snow-covered mountain or a beautiful beach or a beautiful natural sceneries, you should be there to enjoy a beach or island. You always feel you should be there. But actually when you go to that place, you think, alright, when is the next flight? Alright, what should I do next? Why you always feel like going to that place, and after going there, why you feel that you should do something next? Why you are not feeling that relaxation or joy which you think you will have it? Understand, it's an important truth. Because I am a traveler. I tell you this secret. This is the important secret, truth. First of all, why you want to go to that kind of places, deep down, always you have the thirst to go away somewhere where nobody knows you, where you don't need your logic to protect you. Understand? It is not interest towards that place. It is not interest towards that island or mountain or ocean or the place, or it is not even interest towards vacation. To go to a place where you don't need your logic for survival. To go to a place where nobody knows you. Where you don't have to use your identity. Where you can be free from your identity. Your identity is like a prison for you. You just want to be away. You just want to do whatever you want. You just want to be away from your identity. You don't want to be recognized by anybody. And the same way, you don't want to see the faces which you know. Deep down, everybody has got that craving, that feeling, that thirst. So whenever you see a place for first time, you know that nobody knows you there. So naturally you feel like being there. But after going there, you understand, you know you. You are carrying a person who knows you completely. He is constantly behind you to haunt you wherever you go. Your intimate enemy is with you. So you are not experiencing the joy or the feeling which you thought you will experience by being there. Even after going there, you will try to introduce yourself with your visiting card to people. You are there just to get rid of your identity, but even after going there, you will tell, hey, do you know who am I? Do you know what I am doing? How dare you sit next to me? You will try. You will try to introduce and create new people, new friends, and within 1 or 2 days, you are ready with your help. And now you know many people and they know you. Again, the charm of that new place is lost. Now you are back in the same rut. And again, now you see something else in the TV. Now you are planning to go to that place. Because I am a traveler, I tell you, it's important experience. It is not the interest on the place, not for vacation. It's the interest to be somewhere where you don't need your logic to protect you, where you don't need your logic to live your life, where you don't need to constantly protect you with your identity, where you can survive without your identity. Try a simple experiment. Very simple experiment. It's a beautiful meditation. To visualize and change your identity and live for a week. If you are a doctor, start thinking strongly you are an engineer. If you are male, start thinking strongly you are female or gay. Something. Just shift your identity. Just for a week, try this experiment very playfully. Very playfully. If you are old, visualize you are young. If you are young, visualize you are old. Just opposite points. Or some other points. It doesn't even have to be completely opposite. Some other points. Create a new identity with all new points and try to visualize for a week. Just for a week. You will understand the amount of liberation you feel. That is why in India, when a person wants to become enlightened, he is given this technique. He is supposed to declare that he is mad to the society. He declares very clearly, I am Paramahamsa. Paramahamsa means literally translate. The literal translation goes mad. The person who is not going to live according to the rules or manuals given by the society. He becomes so innocent. He is innocent of good and bad. He is not bothered about anything. He is innocent that he is innocent. He is innocent even about his innocence. He is only called Paramahamsa. That's why people feel he is little mad. He is little mad. He becomes so innocent, even about his own innocence. If you are aware you are innocent, you are cunning. Be very clear. If you are aware you are innocent, you are cunning. You are not innocent. You are posing. He will not even be aware of his own innocence. He is innocent about his own innocence. That space is what I call Paramahamsa. You are supposed to declare and live the life of Paramahamsa. Just live whatever way you feel, whatever way you want. Saying complete no to the manual given to you by society, which I call rational mind. Your rational mind is nothing but a manual given to you by society. What you are supposed to do, how you are supposed to respond, including your disease, old age, death, everything is written in that manual. At the most, you can try and do small corrections, not more than that. People ask me, Swamiji, is our life is a fate or our individual will? Understand, your life can be designed according to your will, but first of all you should have will. You don't have. Who will design? You can design your life by your will. If you have one, whatever you think as your will is nothing but the manual given to you by your society. Your so-called rational mind only you mistake as your will. If you really have a will, naturally you can design your life, your future. This is the scale to find whether you have will or not. For example, you are taught if this happens, you should fall in depression. If that happens, you should feel the suffering. When really that incident happens, sit and analyze. What did I lose now? Should I really suffer? Sit and analyze. No incident. Understand? Anything which happens in your life is auspicious. I am not teaching you positive thinking. Whether it is disease or pain or suffering, anything, whatever is happening in your life is a pure auspiciousness, mangalatva, shivatva, total auspiciousness. Auspiciousness in its totality is life. But when you have a manual given by the society, the rational mind, you have to suffer. Nothing else can be done. If you are not suffering, then things are not going proper. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Now I invite you all to experience the space where you can relax from your logic, where you can relax from your rational mind. See, relaxing from your rational mind, which you want to do always, all your desires, all your desire to have vacation, everything is nothing but desire to relax from your occasional mind, relax from your rational mind. But the difficulty is you don't know the technique. You think taking a flight and reaching Hawaii, you will relax from your rational mind. No. taking a flight and reaching Hawaii, you will not be able to relax from your, you may have vacation, but not from your rational mind. Now, let's learn a technique, really to have a vacation, to relax from your rational mind. It is much more than a flight to Hawaii. It is much more than a flight to Hawaii. It is flight to your inner space. This one meditation, I call this Nitya Dhyan, can give you the glimpse of your very being, your innocent being, can help you to move beyond your logic, to move beyond your intimate enemy. See, I am not telling you to kill your enemy. No. Make him as your servant. Why unnecessarily kill him? Make him as your servant. Have one more servant without paying. You don't have to pay him. Just make him your servant. So this is the technique. Beautiful technique. To make your rational mind, your intimate enemy, as your servant. You can transform him to your servant. Understand? It's a very powerful technique. Simple but very powerful technique. At least once a day, if you can practice this, whatever you call as a pain or suffering, all these so-called logical ideas will disappear. You will experience a zone where you don't need to keep your identity for surviving, where you don't need to be constantly introduced by your identity, where you don't need your logic for living your life. It's a very simple but powerful technique. Just 5 stages. First stage, creating prana, life source in life force, life energy in you. Intense chaotic breathing. Inhaling and exhaling as deeply as possible, as chaotically as possible. Second step, intense humming to shake your inner chattering, to take you beyond your inner chattering, logic. Third step, bringing your awareness to all the energy centers. Energy centers are beyond your logic, but even they should be purified. Not only your logic has corrupted your whole being. The corrupted logic not only disturbs itself, it disturbs your whole being. It's like a smell of your corrupted logic has spread all over your being. Now you have to clean the whole thing, not only logic. Even the place in which logic was kept, that place also should be cleaned. Like a dead body, when it stinks and creates smell, not only the coffin, even the place in which it was kept, the whole thing needs to be clean. So, your energy spaces, energy centers, that also should be cleaned by bringing your awareness for it. To all the chakras. Fourth step is an important step. Just sit without connecting all your thoughts. Do not try to fulfill them. Don't repent because the thoughts are coming. Understand? Fourth step, just sit in a relaxed way. If you get some thoughts, don't try to fulfill them. You may get a thought, let me get up and go. Let me sleep. Or let me do something. Do not fulfill them. Do not go behind them. And same way, don't repent. Oh, I am getting thoughts. I should not get thoughts. I am supposed to be without thoughts. I am meditating. What is this? I am getting thoughts. Do not respond to it in the outer world or in the inner world. Your response to the thought in the outer world is action. Your response to the thought in the inner world is repenting. Don't do both. Neither respond nor repent. If you repent, you will repress. You will suppress. No. No responding. No repressing. Neither responding nor repressing. Just sit and do not connect them. If it comes, let it come. If it doesn't come, it's okay. Let anything happen. Just sit for a few minutes. That's the fourth stage. Fifth stage, relax completely and trust the life force. Trust the energy which is happening in your body, which is helping your body to run itself. Trust that force. It will run your whole life. Feel connected to that force. See, you have an energy inside your body which can convert blood into blood, which no machine can do. When you have a force to convert blood into blood, why can't you trust that force can earn its own bread? Immediately you may ask, if I don't go to job, how do you think I will make my bread? You can't keep quiet without going to the job. You have an innate rajas, means the active energy. All you need to do is stop worrying too much about your bread. That's all. Stop worrying too much about your life. That's all. You have enough energy, enough power to live your life. The divine never sends you empty-handed. You are given enough, much more than what you need. All you need to do is to relax, enjoy. Fifth stage, feel strongly connected to that life energy. You may call that as a God or Guru or whatever name you want. Just feel deeply connected. Sit with a prayerful mood and offer yourself to that existence. Again, I am repeating the 5 stages. 1. First stage, chaotic breathing. You will have music and instruction to guide you, to help you. Every stage there will be instruction. Second stage, humming, intense humming to shake your inner chattering. Third stage, putting your awareness on all 7 energy centers for 1 minute. Fourth stage, just unclutching and sitting without responding or repressing. Fifth stage, sit with a deep prayerful mood, connected to the life force which is happening in you always.